Hey there, welcome to Math 220. I'm Laura Housley and I'm your instructor and I'm glad you're here. So I was looking through my book the other day, The Cartoon Introduction to Calculus, and I was reminded of what the introduction of this book says. Calculus is about two mathematical mountains, Mount Derivative and Mount Integral. And Mount Derivative is actually Math 220 and Mount Integral is Math 230. So guys, look, this is awesome because Mount Derivative, I mean, look at this. You can see that it's a mountain, but it's not as crazy as Math 230. Look at this mountain. This is not what we have to do this semester. All we have to do this semester is this. And so this is going to be our goal here, Mount Derivative in Math 220. And then next semester you'll be awesome at Math 230. You'll be this super duper awesome rock climber. But this is our goal this semester, Mount Derivative. And calculus is truly one of the most beautiful ideas that mankind has ever come up with. Um, it just keeps giving and giving and giving in so many ways. So here's sort of our routine this semester. This will happen, we meet twice a week, and so these types of things will happen usually 2 times a week. Before we go to class, you will take a preview quiz. This kind of primes our brains for what we're going to be talking about in class, and you take it at home on Canvas before class. When you come to class, we're going to have some lectures, some discussion, and we'll do a lot of problems together in small groups and as a class. You also will have 2 assignments pretty much every time we meet in class. Afterwards, you'll have something called a Delta Math assignment. These problems are shorter, they're more fluency. If you're thinking of if this was comparing to taking a language class, the Delta Math assignment would be like your vocab. You gotta learn it and you gotta get quick at it. But it's kind of the shorter problems. And then we'll have a textbook and we'll have some more in-depth problems in the textbook. That will take longer, but there won't be quite as many of them, and these will be good problems to get our thinking straight. At the end of each chapter, we will take an exam practice problems quiz, so this kind of gets you ready for the exam, the midterm, and then we take a midterm. So how are your grades determined? This is the breakdown. 20% of your grade will be based on homework, assignments and quizzes, and some in-class work. And then, of course, the bulk of your grade will be determined by exams. So you'll have 3 midterm exams, and that will be 55% of your course grade, and a final exam will be 25% of your course grade. And then a pretty standard chart for how letter grades are assigned at the end of the semester. I will say you look at this and 80% of your grade is based on exams, and that's important because this material really has to be learned well to progress any further in calculus. And so a student might say, oh, the assignments aren't that important. These are actually extremely important. And calculus, we just have to give it the respect that it demands. This is where all of the exercise, all of the really difficult learning happens. And so you don't want to shortcut this at all because it'll be reflected in your exams. And I want to be here every step of the way to help you with these. There's great tutors that we'll talk about in a minute. But this is where you really put in the work and you really determine how well you're going to learn the material. All right, so calculus is this super duper awesome topic, but guys, it is a 5-credit class. And that's almost like taking 2 classes at the same time. It's a lot, and it's a lot of material. It moves fairly quickly. It really depends. You have to have a good pre-calculus foundation because you won't have time to really get that algebra or trig foundation now. You need to have it already. So I do want to give you some resources and for help along the way as we go this first semester. First of all, of course, be in class every time on time. That's just so foundational. I'm going to have an office hour, a half hour before class in our classroom. So come with questions. You will have already done a lot of the work, but for sure I want to answer any questions that I can along the way. There is a CGCC math tutoring lab on the 2nd floor of the library, and it's an important resource. It's, successful students use it. You can get your questions answered. It's free. You can just drop in. You don't need an appointment. I will tell you what I recommend the best practice is when using the tutoring lab is first do all that you can do. And maybe you want to do it on the 1st floor of the library. Maybe that's a place that you want to work. Just really struggle a little bit and make sure that you're exercising your brain to learn the material. Because you don't want to rely too much on somebody immediately answering your question. So work as much as you can, but then go to the tutoring center on the 2nd floor of the library and ask those questions that you're totally stuck on. This is a good combination. If you're only doing the part where you're trying to do everything on your own, you may experience a lot of frustration this semester because there will be problems that really test you and really push you. And I don't want you spending 6 hours on one problem. That's totally futile. You know, to get help, but if all you do is to go to the tutoring center and immediately get help, that can be dangerous too. So use the combination of doing all you can and then ask for help. You can always message me on Canvas as well. I receive Canvas messages pretty quickly, and I definitely try to answer them as quickly as possible. It's a quicker way to reach me than email, so use Canvas Messenger. Other things I want to mention is I do drop your two lowest homeworks. This is to compensate for emergencies, car trouble, or some other obligation that comes up that you have to attend to. I totally respect that calculus is not going to be the most important thing in your life. There's definitely more important things. So you are able to drop your two lowest homeworks, but because of that, I never accept late homework. So if you run into an emergency where you cannot either complete or turn in your assignment, that's okay. You have these two dropped opportunities, but then I never accept late homework throughout the semester. You'll find the textbook at activecalculus.org, and it is free. You can use the online version throughout the semester, or you can order a print copy for about $20. I personally love print copies of books. I'm able to learn better from them, but you can do whichever version you want. On this page, you'll see actually 3 textbooks. Make sure that you get the calculus one. It's the one right in the middle. We'll end here with a quote by Steven Strogatz. He's a professor, I think at Syracuse, but he wrote a great book about calculus called Infinite Powers. And he says, without calculus, we wouldn't have cell phones, computers, or microwave ovens. We wouldn't have radio or television or ultrasound for expectant mothers or GPS for lost travelers. We wouldn't have split the atom, unraveled the human genome, or put astronauts on the moon. We might not even have the Declaration of Independence. So there's a lot to love about calculus. It took a world that was very static and made it dynamic and made us able to understand dynamic things so much better, and really did change the history of the world. So I just thought of an analogy. We don't want calculus to feel like this. This is what I don't want it to feel like super frustrating and like you're getting nowhere. We want it to feel more like this, like you approached this sort of daunting mountain and climbed it, and you got to the top and you have a view like nobody else that hasn't climbed it can see. You've worked hard, you've made it with the help of others to the top of the mountain. So just a little bit about me. This is me and my husband. I am a math graduate from BYU with my bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree in math from UCLA. I love math. I especially love teaching calculus, and I'm looking forward to a great semester.